it's Martin Griffiths. Welcome to another episode of the Manufacturers Make Strides podcast. Today, I'm interviewing Tony Wallace. He's the co-founder of AutomateAmerica.com. And Tony's had a really interesting career. He started off as an engineer and a controls engineer at some of the big automotive plants in Detroit in America. And he's really spread his time throughout the industry. He's been an employee, a contractor. He's built his own services and automation company, and leading on to him creating AutomateAmerica.com, which is the first really online platform and jobs board for automation engineers, PLC programmers. It's really got the goal of making it easier to find contract labor and easier to make the transition from employee to contractor out there. So he's got lots of interesting thoughts about that. Also about the reason why automation has got a big potential growth in particularly in America. So let's jump into our conversation with Tony right now. Hey Tony, how's it going today?
Good, Martin. How are you? How are things in the UK?
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks. Yeah, great to have you on the podcast. Really interested to dig into some of your background, some of your really extensive background. So you've been involved for your whole career in automation, in programming. You've been an employee, a contractor. You've owned a service company, service builders, and you've decided to create this really interesting platform, recruitment platform now, or gig economy platform now. What did you feel it started for you? How did you get into those early days, automation and manufacturing to begin with?
Yeah, so I grew up in Detroit, and all of my family was involved in the UAW, the United Auto Workers in the US, and skilled trades. And the city that I grew up in had 3 auto plants right in the city. So you either worked for the auto companies or you serviced them. So it was always kind of a obvious path for me.
Yeah. So how did that change then? Because there's been a decline in particularly I think in Detroit, in some of those big automakers. Have you seen that change then over time?
I think that it's went through cycles, but I believe that it's strong again now. For instance, we came to South Carolina in 2008-9 when it got really slow up there. But soon after, by 2013, things were recovering pretty well. And we now have an office in Michigan as well. Most of the suppliers are still headquartered there. And a lot of the newer plants in the US are actually coming to Detroit. So it's been a good revival and a bit of a cycle.
Yeah. So what's your path been with automation? What led you to the path where you're creating your own automation and company?
Yeah, so originally worked for an engineering firm, DC Automation at the time, and worked for them for about 4 years. And the obvious path forward for me was becoming an independent contractor. I'd met many of them, and they were making a lot of money. So it kind of topped out at the company I was at and said, hey, if I want to go to the next level, I got to start contracting myself. And my first customer, Gonzalez Production Systems, they asked if I knew anybody else. So that's kind of how the company began. I didn't expect it and wasn't planning on it for a long time. I wasn't really thinking about growing the company, just wanted to be an independent. And before I knew it, we had several independent contractors, and then that blossomed into employees, hiring engineers, particularly robot programmers and controls engineers, PLC guys, HMI developers. And ultimately that led us to building systems down here in South Carolina eventually. And which was where we had our struggles. And we learned that to keep an even workflow, consistent workflow, was impossible. You would get a one-off system that was huge, followed by a smaller one, followed by the biggest one you've ever had. So we couldn't keep mechanical designers, builders, electricians, and programmers all busy at the same time. And it was just the ebb and flow of the work. So
Mm.
when I realized how much I loved building automation, but how difficult it was to be successful and to run a business profitably, I realized what the problem was, and it was just having the right employees with the right skills on demand. And that's kind of what we set forward to build, was to help our community, help everybody be able to build those systems efficiently. So for instance, when you need you have your core team of 3 or 4 mechanical designers, and when you get a big project, you contract in, the other 3 or 4 that you need. And when that project's done, or that part of the project is done, you move on and contract in some builders or electricians. And if you do end up getting a huge project and hire too many employees, what's nice is with Automate America, you can contract them back out. So when you have employees, designers, builders not working, you can contract them back out and keep them billable, and keep the machine moving. So.
Got you. That's interesting. But I think you kind of answered one of the questions I had. You think it's important to keep that core team of, of 2, 3, or 4 who have that, because I guess a key thing, that's different to like the gig economy with this is it's like there's some like core knowledge about, the product, your processes that needs to be kept, that isn't maybe that easily or quickly transferable with the contractor who comes in, who dips in and out. So do you think it's that core team that enables that?
Yes, exactly. So almost all of our service partners or customers have that core team, and then we just help them flex their workforce with the ebb and flow of work.
So, yeah. Yeah. So how do you think, someone who's an employee at the moment, maybe considering doing contracting, what do you think of describe kind of what you think the journey is, what are some of the challenges you come across taking that? It's a little bit of a leap of faith, I suppose, isn't it? Like obviously with the reward being the more extra money that you get from it, but probably balancing out with a little bit of risk. How do you see that?
Yeah, so there is a bit of risk involved, and what I recommend to everybody is to have 2 or 3 months of your bills in the bank before you get started, and to have a decent network already of friends. As you're an employee, keep everybody's contact. Can make a good impression on everybody, and really build up your reputation and your network while you're an employee. And then when it becomes time to contract, the right people to call, the right marketplace online to join, and you can really go out there and have a reputable background that will keep you busy. So contracting is definitely not for inexperienced people or somebody trying to get a start in the industry. There have been success stories there, but very rarely. So you really need to be an experienced, seasoned contractor or experienced, seasoned employee to really move into it. And then to have some financial security, because there will be ups and downs. When you do work, you will make more money, but you may not get that consistent paycheck, and payment terms are different. For instance, with Automate America, we pay a higher percentage the longer you can wait to get paid. So the sooner you need to get paid, that's kind of where we make our money. We finance the project basically, and we take a higher percentage. So if you're a beginning contractor and you need to get paid in 2 weeks, we take a higher percentage. But if you can afford to wait, 30, 60, 90 days, you can get almost the entire bill rate. So it increases dramatically.
Yeah, that's interesting, and it's good that you've got that flexibility, because I know with some of the large automotive companies, they like to push you to 90 days wherever they can. So yeah.
And that's the real thing, Martin. BMW won't take independent contractor as a supplier. And even most of the suppliers won't onboard an independent contractor to do work directly just with one person. So we are kind of that umbrella company that covers that. So we can get the big work from the big companies. We're the approved supplier. And what's nice is our contractors, our service companies, they don't have to do any billing, invoicing, anything like that. They don't have to keep up with the supplier requirements for, Plastic Omnium or BMW or Furcia. They just come in, do their work, do the best they can. And that's all they have to do is focus on what they do. So.
Yeah, that sounds brilliant. How do you think the automation in the US is a growth area at the moment? Do you think it's going to expand over the next few years or decade?
Yes, I think some of the supply chain problems have been brought to light, and importing has become much more difficult and much more expensive now. So we are seeing quite a bit of reshoring, and we're really looking forward to 2022 being a big portion of that, and a lot of companies bringing it back to the US and manufacturing here. And even if they're not manufacturing their entire product, they're bringing portions of their supply chain back. So it seems to be really good, and we're really looking forward to it. But we're also doing work across all of North America and some in South America as well, in Brazil and Argentina right now. So.
Cool. And do you think it's just a pretty clear business decision to go with the automation? Do you think the return on investment that manufacturers are going to get from investing in this, do you think they get that payback really quickly?
Yeah, what we're finding in the US is that nobody wants to do manual labor anymore. Nobody wants to load a bracket. That's those days are gone. So they really need to be automated, all of those processes. And when you do find an employee that's willing to do that, the turnover is so high, and the problems are just immense. We have manufacturers right now that are looking for just anybody. They don't care about background checks or drug tests. They just need to get people in, but they literally have police officers on the floor of the manufacturing facility every day because they're having so many problems. And that's unsustainable. You can't maintain a work environment like that, because those same customers are losing engineers because they don't want to be working with felons on the floor. They have to load a bracket or stretch leather over a seat cover. So a lot of those manual processes are being automated at all costs right now, which is great. Yeah,
that's interesting. I hadn't thought of it. I thought it was kind of driven more of a top-down way, can we reduce some costs? But it makes sense that there's no kind of demand, or I guess in the time that some of these manufacturing processes have been out of the US, just people's expectations for what a job should be has changed, I guess, hasn't it?
That's correct. Yeah.
Well, so what in starting in the path the career path that you've taken in founding your company, do you have any tools or techniques that have helped you on the way?
Yeah, I definitely I recommend a network. I always go back to that, and keeping contacts and keeping a reputation. That's the most important thing with any business, but especially in automation like this. And then on the financial end, it's before you try to start your business, make sure that you have a stable background, and that you're not going to be worried about quitting your job, becoming a contractor, or starting a corporation and worry about your first month's payments. You need to make sure that that's covered. And a big way to do that, at least in the US, is through a line of credit with the bank. Most of the banks here, if you just start a company, they'll give you a line of credit for $5,000 to start off. And then every month, go to that bank and ask for more, and keep building it up. And that was really one of our keys to success. We haven't used any venture, no funds, no financing on that side, just traditional bank financing and a line of credit, which is accessible to almost anybody right off the bat, and just keep getting that value increased.
Yeah, that sounds good. What's your kind of preferred way of keeping in touch with your network? Because everyone's busy these days. Is a a call up and a go for a beer or go for a coffee, or how do you like to do that?
I tell you, that's how I started the business. That's how it worked. It was always lunches and dinners and taking people out. And as much as I hate to admit it, in the beginning, it was having cigarettes with the managers and stepping outside and getting that one-on-one time to have a conversation. Those days are long gone. But yeah, today I think that it has really changed. We're really working on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, trying to put videos out there every day about what is Automate America, how can it help, and showing gratitude. But the problem is keeping that entertaining at the same time is challenging, because engineering contracts and work isn't as exciting as some of the videos you might come across on TikTok, right? So to get somebody to stop on that is a challenge. So we're fighting with that. But recently, it was all emails, email blasts. We use SendGrid. That's tied into Automate America. So for instance, when we get a new contract, if it's not filled within 48 hours, it gets emailed out to everybody. And then, of course, we use Twilio for text messaging, your timesheets due or your expense reports due, things like that. But I think improving both email and SMS is really important for almost any business right now, and just managing your network.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. When you say that it's not as exciting as some of the other videos on TikTok, about, I don't know, cats or people dancing, who knows what they are. I'm a bit too old for that, to be honest. But for someone who's interested in making the leap from, maybe they've been, maybe they've got their 10, 15 years experience, being an employee, they're thinking about doing it, for that type of person, they probably do want to go to probably social media or YouTube or wherever is probably one of the first places people go to these days to find out, how to do it, what to do. Years ago, that information didn't exist, did it? So I guess if you can share kind of information like that out there, it speaks to people, I think.
That's it. And that's what we want to do, is help people become independent contractors, show them the way, help people start businesses, help explain, because we do work with a lot of foreign companies as well. So we have, I think, 6 engineers right now from Poland working on projects in the US, several from Brazil and Mexico as well. So we're working with companies all over the world, and we need to help show them how they can get over here, how they can help do the work as well, and get it done. Yeah,
brilliant. Thanks a lot for your time. A couple of quick questions to wrap up. What things at the start of 2022 now, what things are you kind of excited to be working on in this coming year?
I'm really excited on improving our social media and finding a way to really make that work, because in the past, our social media was just images. It was an image with some information, and now we're really converting to video and trying to make that work. So it's a journey. It's something that should always improve. I'm sure you see that with the podcast. Video editing and putting that stuff all together is exciting. And I'm sure it's going to get much better every day. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah. Good luck. Yeah. The best advice I had with that is just start. A shitty first draft is guaranteed. That's what will happen. But just start with that, basically. Yeah.
There you go.
What's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Either going directly to automateamerica.com and registering. It's completely free. There's no risk. There's no sign up, no subscriptions, anything like that. So if you're a customer, you can go there, post your contract right away. Whether you need a contract to hire, or a direct job posts are completely free. So you can do that. And then we also market your products and services as a customer. As a service partner, you can register, and if you have a contractor that you need to get work for, you build a profile for that person and get them working right away. If you're an independent contractor, you just go in there and build your own profile, and apply to any projects that you want. What's nice, everything's up front. So what you see is what you get. So if you see $100 an hour bill rate, that's what you get paid. And payment terms, expenses, travel, all of that is right up front in the initial contract. So yeah, that's it. If you have questions, info@automateamerica.com. But the best bet is just to go ahead and register and start your profile.
Sounds brilliant. I will post links to all of that stuff in the blog and in the video. Sounds amazing. Thanks, Tony.
All right. Thank you very much, Martin. I watched a lot of your other podcasts, and you're doing a great job. I love the format, and you're touching a lot of people. So keep up the good work as well.
Cheers, Tony. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.
Cheers. Take care.